Hey guys, and welcome back to another video and a brand new episode of my Mick Schumacher career mode. Today we are here for round number 11 for the British Grand Prix, and a very interesting race today as some teams have brought some big upgrades and might shuffle the pack a little bit, who knows. It's going to be interesting to see how things shakes out in qualifying, and there might be some surprises, but either way I'm looking forward to this race. I always enjoy coming to Silverstone, a very fun track, one of the ultimate racing circuits, and if you've got a good car underneath you, you can do some damage. But if you guys did miss the last episode, then do check it out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen, and that will take you directly to the last race, which was a pretty cracking race, if I do say so myself, at the Austrian Grand Prix, and quite an interesting race in terms of strategy. So do check that one out if you did miss it before coming back to this one, because there's a lot at stake here today and a lot on the line. So jumping into qualifying here, we are looking okay at the moment. Mick felt pretty confident with the car, as per usual. We know the Sauber is much better in race pace. Both Leclerc and Schumi have both been, pretty positive of the car, admitting that the car works a lot better on the Sundays than it does on the Saturdays, and the qualifying sessions are very much about damage limitation. So again, through qualifying here in Silverstone, we're going to try and do the same thing again. And Mick Schumacher was doing a pretty good lap actually up until this point, P12 at the moment, and he's looking to try and improve on his Austria qualifying where he qualified P13. The question is, can he actually improve on that position? Right now it's neck and neck between matching it and being slightly ahead, but right now P12 going into the S's, and this is where the Sauber is actually pretty strong, surprisingly, working really well through here, and Mick gains a handful of positions up into 9th place. So a really good S section there, Maggots, Beckett and Chappell from the Sauber driver, and getting himself well into the top 10 as we now approach the final sector, which is where the AI are a little bit stronger and their cars seem to work a little bit better through the slow corners, especially the final chicane, and Mick has to really try and put his neck out on the line to gain the maximum time possible in the Sauber car. Going through the chicane now, really attacking the curbs and being easy on the throttle, not to lose the back end on the power through the final corner and up to the line, and it's going to be P10 I believe for Mick Schumacher there in the qualifying session. Ultimately not too bad of a lap, pretty good one, no mistakes really made, and it's a very nice, clean, composed lap. And overall, going into the race, a pretty good momentum boost, knowing that you're inside the top 10 and you can carry that form forward. So hopefully the race is as good. But looking at the final qualifying results, Hamilton bags a pole position in his home race, 1/10 ahead of Fernando Alonso, who joins him on the front row. Valtteri Bottas in third for the second Mercedes, and Mercedes looking very strong here in a 1-3 position, with Sebastian Vettel on the second row also. Kimi Raikkonen leads the third row, Pierre Gasly alongside him, and that is 5th and 6th, with Max Verstappen in the second Red Bull, just missing out on his teammate there, and he is in P7, leading the 4th row ahead of Esteban Ocon in the second Porsche. Finally, to bring out the top 10 on row number 5, we have Daniel Ricciardo in the first of the McLarens, 6 tenths off the pace, with Mick Schumacher alongside him in the Alfa Romeo a couple of tenths further back, and there was a bit of a gap there from 9th to 10th, but overall very close. Ricciardo doing what he could. McLaren lacking a little bit of pace around the circuit compared to the last couple of races. And then we have P11 Stoffel Vandoorne with the exact same lap time as Mick Schumacher. Unfortunately Mick beat him to the line, and we're talking in like milliseconds here that Mick was slightly faster. And then Nico Hulkenberg P12 in the first of the Renaults, with Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen both at the Haas cars, 13th and 14th, also taking a little step back in performance this race. Carlos Sainz P15 with Pascal Wehrlein, a very good P16 there for Williams, ahead of Charles Leclerc in the second Alfa Romeo, only P17, with Danny Kvyat and Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, who actually tested a prototype Jaguar power unit in Friday practice, qualifying 18th and 19th, with finally Lance Stroll rounding out the top 20, and that is going to be your grid for this race for round number 11 and the beginning of the second half of the season for the British Grand Prix. Right then, here we go, let's get ready for the 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go at Silverstone, and it's a brilliant start for the line, gaining 2 places on Ricciardo and Verstappen to turn 1 now for the first time. Ocon's been tagged, we just avoid him. Ocon in the Porsche has gone for a spin here, and we're going to go for the inside line on Gasly. It's a phenomenal start from us though, a little bit of wheel barging, but we're going to go on the outside of Gasly, lock up though into turn 4, allowing Gasly back through on the inside, but a phenomenal start, getting 2 places there, and all 3 of you, including Ocon, who went off. And look at this, we're gaining the slipstream on Pierre Gasly here in the Red Bull. Gasly can't make his mind up in terms of where to go and have to get out of it, which is going to allow Verstappen to get on my inside and put the pressure on me a little bit here. I'm going to try and squeeze him out, but a very good start from us this race. We are looking at the one-stop strategy, which is super straight onto the medium. We're going to have to do a little bit of tyre conservation. There might be a few 2-stoppers, but we have to try and make the strategy work. So heavy fuel loads in the car, not really confident through cops just yet. We might struggle to keep up with the big boys in front of us, so this might be the best we can do this race, so we have to make it count. I've always gone pretty well at Silverstone. So I feel confident in that regard, but I know the big boys always have some pretty good pace around here. But let's see how we settle into this race, and if we can do something similar to Austria and have a very good first stint, then we might be in this race, especially if there's a few two-stoppers. But overall, we're looking good. Both for the Ferraris ahead of me going side by side here. Vettel and Raikkonen. Sebastian just edges out his teammate after actually turning to the apex very late there for the Val chicane, as Gasly broke extremely early. But right now we're looking okay. Let's see what our pace is like once everything sort of settled down and we stabilise in terms of lap times. Okay, so far signs are good. As per usual, race pace we can keep up. Fast up at the Grand Prix here, although everyone in front of us pretty much has traffic. The Mercedes seem to be struggling. Hamilton's holding up Alonso and Bottas is holding up these three cars in front of us. But right now, good race pace. There was one error though. I didn't realise I'd put the engine mix into rich at the start somehow, and I've basically burnt off all my excess fuel, so that might explain why that lap might have been pretty quick. I've had to go down the standard now, so these next few laps might not be the same, but either way, it's still good race pace nonetheless. Cops isn't quite flat. A track extend warning there, just couldn't go flat out yet. I'm too used to what I used to do in career mode in my mod career, but we are nowhere near flat through Cops just yet, especially not with this car. So far we're still holding on here. You could say DRS is doing us a favour by staying in contact with these guys, but we're looking good. Gasly doesn't seem to have as much pace as the Ferraris and the Mercedes and Alonso up ahead. He's just about hanging on, and I think we can match Gasly a lot more. I feel like the Ferraris have the ultimate race pace around this circuit, and once they actually overtake Bottas, I think they're going to be pretty hard to catch. So I think the Mercedes are also struggling here as well. We just tapped the back of Gasly there, we're just there. But we're looking good. I can start maybe lining up Gasly for a move, but I've got Verstappen very close to me. He's really staying close here, and I'm also attacking and defending at the same time, although Vettel has now gone for the move on Valtteri Bottas here, so I've got a feeling we might see Vettel wander off into the distance, and Raikkonen's going to follow him soon enough, I think, in the other Ferrari. But I just cannot get the exits that I want with this car out of the traction zones and really get close enough to put pressure on Gasly into the brake zone. So I might have to try and pass him elsewhere, maybe surprise him somewhere, or pass him in a bit of an unexpected place, but that's going to be a real challenge. I know I'm strong through the S's, so if I can get a good S section and then get nice and close onto the hangar straight, then I might have half a chance. But right now I've got Verstappen on the back of me here. He's looking for the inside into Cop's corner. Is he going to commit to it? Yes, he does. Oh wow, very brave move from Max Verstappen there. We have to take the wide line, and Max is edged in front. Like I mentioned, he was attacking me while I was also defending, so Max has got the move. He's looking like he's got great pace in that Red Bull, so I'm going to just follow him for now and see if we can maybe use Max as a way to get through the traffic ahead. There you go, Vettel fast up at the Grand Prix, as I expected. I think that Ferrari's got a lot of pace in clean air. Stoffel Van Dorn has a car problem behind us. He's going to start dropping back, so that's going to give us some breathing room and not have to worry about the cars behind. Now we can now completely focus on the cars in front. Now the Mercedes are picking up the pace. Hamilton and Bottas with successive fastest laps. We match our personal best, but it's not enough to really keep up with the guys in front. It seems like all the big boys now are really starting to pick up their pace, so we might struggle now to really keep up with this overall race pace here. Okay, we're in that window now where we might see some two-stoppers, and we do have a car in the pit lane. It's a Ferrari. I wonder which one. I think it might be Sebastian Vettel. We'll confirm it now as we go across the line. But yeah, it is indeed Sebastian Vettel who comes in, so he's going to be, I'm pretty sure now, on a two-stop at least, so that's going to give us a position here on the one-stop strategy up into P7. We're just holding on here and keeping around that 1 second window. If Verstappen didn't have DRS on Gasly, I think we'd probably be within DRS, but he just keeps on edging away on the straights. So we're still there or thereabouts in race pace. I'm not too concerned. We're all on the same straight from 1st to 7th place, so we're not out of this just yet. We have to just stay here and try and tuck in and keep the pace up. Okay, the entire lead pack is pretty much bunched up now, so we're going to come in this lap. This is our scheduled pit stop lap. Just struggling on these tyres now to hold them together. Everyone's going to come in except for the second driver teammate, so to speak. So let's get it all slowed down for the pit entry, so 60. So we've got to be extra careful. Very nice entry though. All I'm hoping for is we don't get held up at all. That's going to be the ideal scenario. We have Danny Rick behind us. I think we should be okay though. I'm not concerned about being held up. I don't think there's enough cars in the pit lane to disrupt our rhythm. I think we are going to hold up a few cars in the process though. These three cars, I think Ricciardo's going to hold them up as well. So that's worked out quite nicely for us in terms of potentially gaining some time here. But we're right at the end of the pit lane, so we've got that benefit of not having any pit boxes around us. And we're going to have a 2.9 stop. And look at that, we've rejoined behind Hamilton and we've jumped Pierre Gasly. I think Gasly's behind us, so we've jumped a couple of cars, and I think we might have jumped someone else maybe, but there's Hamilton, and he was competing for the lead with Alonso. So that pit stop phase has worked out beautifully for us. The team doing a phenomenal job of doing a good start for 2.6, I believe it was, and critically our pit box doing us a massive favour of being towards the end of the pit lane and actually serving its purpose, and we didn't get held up that much. So right now Hamilton's the race leader and he's right there in front of us, so let's try and have a good outlap here and try and see how many places we can get into those number 2 drivers who will come in at this lap. Okay, then everyone's in the pit lane. We've dipped back into the rich mix. I had some fuel saved up from running it in standard, and we've run it for about half a lap or just over half a lap on this out lap. Let's see if it's helped us at all in terms of our strategy. I can see cars leaving the pit lane now, so it's going to be close. There's Hamilton going side by side with Max Verstappen, so Verstappen's really come out a winner out of this, and I can see a few cars actually who seem to have gained quite a lot of time, so interesting strategy here. I'm not really sure where we feed now in the pecking order, but right now we are P9. Hamilton and Verstappen going side by side. We've got Hulkenberg behind us on fresh super softs, so he's going to be sticking with us, I think, for the foreseeable future, as Hamilton does get the move done on the Red Bull driver of Max Verstappen there. Let's see if we can try and get in on this battle. I was good on fresh tyres in the last stint on the supers, and so they start to fade away, so now might be our opportunity to stay close to these guys. Personal best 30.9, pretty good race pace. More cars in the pit lane here. We're going to gain a few places up into P8. Surely this can't be our net position. We couldn't have lost in that pit stop phase. I just cannot get within Verstappen's DRS. I'm 9/10 behind, but the detection point is before the S's, so after the S's I'm within a second, but before them I'm not. And that's the situation right now. We've got a couple more cars in the pit lane here, so we're going to gain a few more places. I'm trying my absolute hardest to really push the limit of every single corner here to get within Verstappen's DRS. Once I get in DRS, I think I can hang on, but I need to get there. Another personal best, now up into P6, and I think this is going to be our net position now, 6th place. That is where we are. Alonso setting the pace in the Porsche. I just can't do it. 8/10.5 is the gap to Verstappen, but after the S's, I just cannot get within DRS. It's so frustrating. Okay, even though I'm negative for fuel, we're going to keep it rich this time, all the way on this home stretch and through 1 and 2 to compensate for lack of slipstream, and see if I can get the detection point this time around here. Very late on the brakes on purpose. Surely that time I must have got DRS. It has to be. Surely. Yes, we have. There we go. We're finally within DRS. Oh, Verstappen goes for the move on Lewis. I think it's time. I can tell Verstappen's running rich mix because he's pulling away on the straights quite considerably. They're going side by side. That's a massive favour for me. That's going to help me out in terms of really closing up that gap, as Verstappen does get the move done on Hamilton there. Lewis's race has really fallen apart for him. He was leading the entire first stint, but in that pit stop phase he's lost out so much time. There's Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane who's on a 2 stop, so we're now P5 and this is our net position. A podium is right there, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Okay, this time we're definitely going to have DRS on the back straight here, on the hanger straight on these guys, so let's try and get a good run through the S's. I'll really close up through there. On the power, dirty air kicking in a little bit onto the grass, not the best line. Really notice the dirty air just kicking in towards the end there, but we are going to have DRS to stay nice and close. Hamilton going for the rear overtake on Verstappen into Stowe. We are close, very close here. Knocking on the door. They're going to go very aggressive into the Val chicane here. I'm going to try and set myself up to stay nice and within close proximity on the home stretch. Gasly now behind us as well in the other Red Bull, closing up. So this is becoming a bit of a 4-way scrap now for the podium, and this time we're well mixed in with the DRS, so we're going to have a good chance of fighting these guys. What I've got to do is just play my cards right and not make any rash moves, but I think we're looking good on the straights as well, which is a good thing. If I can just get the traction, which is not too bad, but I just don't have that sort of power out the corners, that raw exit speed, and Verstappen's going to have DRS on Hamilton, so it's going to be a challenge to get anywhere near him here. Okay then, let's try again through the S's. Stay nice and close to Max here. Set ourselves up. This time a much nicer line, sort of set my car up because of the dirty air. And now we're going to gain the slipstream on Max. He's got DRS on Hamilton, but we've got DRS on him anyway. We're going to commit to the move here into Stowe, up the inside, and it's a lovely overtake. It's a very nice convincing move on the brakes. And we're into P4. Can we get Hamilton for P3? That's going to be interesting, and I wonder if we will have the pace to pull that one off. Let's see what happens. Another personal best here. Pretty much DRS related, as I was getting a lovely tow with DRS and Hamilton on all the straights that lap. But we are staying close here. The DRS is making it possible to keep up with Lewis, and we might have a chance here, who knows. Tyres are holding on beautifully here. We're definitely close to Hamilton now, and we're keeping up quite nicely, so I might actually have a proper chance of getting this podium here if the pace stays the same. Oh, we've got a yellow flag as Alonso. Yes, Alonso's out of the race. Alonso retires from the British Grand Prix, and that's going to put us on a podium position. A championship rival, Fernando Alonso, who's leading the championship by 2 points going into this race, has retired from the British Grand Prix, and that is massive for us because we could potentially take the championship lead after this race. Also, I think we might have a chance here getting past Lewis. Not the best line through there. Tyres is letting go. It's important to keep a level head and not lose our head now. Alonso's retired. Second retirement for the Porsche man this season. And that car, you know, that team in their first season still showing some vulnerable signs. As good as they've been in most races, they have their weaknesses. But right now, it's a Mercedes 1-2. Bottas leading home Hamilton. And we are catching Bottas as well. Whether it will be enough for the end of the Grand Prix, I'm not sure. But right now, we are extremely close to the home hero. Rear tyres are just starting to slip away a little bit now. They're not that much more worn than the front, but for some reason I'm just starting to get a lot of rear wheel spin, and Hamilton's just starting to edge away here. This car does go through tyres a little bit more than other cars, so I'm aware of this. Verstappen's actually gaining on me here in the Red Bull. That Red Bull, bloody quick in a straight line around here. They've definitely found some pace, but we defend for now. But this might start to turn out into defensive drive. I think we had our chance to get past Lewis. Same as the first stint, once the tyres start to fade, I feel like we lose a bit of pace compared to the AI, so this might be now starting to switch the focus to holding on to this podium, I think. Okay, so we might not be over just yet. Hamilton's just dropped off the pace a bit, and he seems to have lost a bit of an edge. Nothing's reported on the radio, he's got a car problem, but we are definitely keeping up with him a lot easier now, and we've gained a bit of time. Whether he was running some rich mix, I'm not sure, but we're now right back on the back of him and closer than ever, so we might have another chance here to get that second place. Lewis locks up into turn 3. That's going to put us on the outside. The pressure pays off, although now I've allowed Verstappen on the inside. Hamilton just had to force me to the outside line there, and I've lost out massively, and now Verstappen's going to get the pop at Hamilton. Look at the Red Bull go in a straight line here. Back up the inside of Max. It's not a great move, bit of contact, bit risky and a bit over the top on my behalf, trying to recover that position in desperation. But from when it finally looked like I cracked Hamilton under the pressure, we actually cracked and making a mistake and allowed Verstappen past again, just like in the first stint, letting him go there. Now we're going to get really bad dirty air through these corners. I've got to get out of the throttle a bit here. Now Gasly's going to be in the back of me. That was my chance, I think. I was very happy behind Hamilton. I was just holding on. But now, just like in the first stint, with the Red Bulls for some reason, I just cannot follow as closely. Let's see if we can hold on here, but I feel like Gasly's going to start putting the pressure on me now as well. Gasly getting very close to me. He's thinking about it into turn 1 there. He was really gaining, but he thought better of it. Sebastian Vettel still pushing hard here. I don't think he's going to catch up. I don't think he's got enough laps left. Hamilton locks up again at turn 3. We have to get out of the throttle. Otherwise I was going to hit the back of Verstappen there, but Hamilton seems to be struggling now with his car and tyres. We've got DRS, so we could make something happen here, but I think Verstappen's going to get first crack at Lewis. He keeps on getting very close, but doesn't ultimately commit to the dive. Here goes Max on the inside of Lewis into Stowe. As we come up to the end of the lap, to 1 lap to go at the final lap of the Grand Prix. This podium battle is not yet decided, and Hamilton just squeezes out Max on the exit there, but this is very, very close, very tense. Anyone can bring on the podium here. One mistake, and it could be curtains. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Who's going to take it? Let's see what happens. Verstappen to the outside into Brooklands here. It's still going on. Hamilton just edges him out though, and going into Luffield. We are so close. Struggling to get the traction. I've got to be so careful. This is very, very tense. I think Gasly might just be struggling to hold on here. Alright, into the S's. It's critical that we get this section perfect. Set the car up. 6th gear early on. Wait for the DRS to come available. There we go. And we've got a rich mix. Yes, we've got some rich left over. Quite a bit actually, more than I thought. Let's get it going. There goes Verstappen on Lewis. Into Stowe yet again. We're a little bit wide, missing the apex here. Oh, it's extremely wide. Dirty air hurting me as well. They're going to go side by side into the Val chicane. It's going to be close. Verstappen around the outside, and he's done it. Hamilton slow out the corner. We try to get the nose in, but we can't get it. And Verstappen on the last lap around the outside of the chicane takes the podium, second place. What a result. What a race. So looking at the final race results, Valtteri Bottas wins the British Grand Prix, his first race win of the season, beating Max Verstappen, who got a second place in the end in that brilliant battle. Hamilton P3 in the second Mercedes, Mick Schumacher P4 from P10 on the grid, good recovery drive. Pierre Gasly P5 in the second Red Bull, they're just missing out also on the podium. Daniel Ricciardo P6 after starting from P9, good recovery drive from him. Sebastian Vettel, the only man on the two-stop, after starting from P4, finishing P7 and ultimately taking a big fat L. Both of the Haas cars, Magnussen actually beating Grosjean for a change in the points after starting from 14th and 13th respectively. Very good race from the Haas boys. And Ocon, after that spin at the start, recovering to a 10th place finish. Fair play to him, a very good result there. And I think he had a 10-second penalty as well, so he done a really, really well to get that position. And Kimi Raikkonen also there in P11, just missing out the points, as did my teammate Charles Leclerc, unfortunately. But overall, very good race, very entertaining. In terms of the driver standings, we lead the championship. Mick Schumacher leads the way going into the next race at Hungary, and is 9 points clear of Lewis Hamilton and 10 points clear of the retiree Fernando Alonso there. Then it's pretty much a bit of a gap now to Sebastian Vettel, Pierre Gasly and Kimi Raikkonen, and also Bottas, who won the race today. So it's still all to play for. It's still very wide open. You know, the top 9 are still within 100 points, so it still can be done. You know, most drivers still can win this, but I think realistically there is a bit of a 3 breaking away now in the form of Mick Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso there. In terms of the constructors though, Mercedes take the lead quite convincingly after a 1-3 finish, and they set a gap of 23 points back to Ferrari, and Porsche also dropped down a position because of it. Sauber though remaining P4, and now you could say the top 5, look how close it is, 53 points covering 5 teams. It's definitely going to be a constructor battle here this season. But overall, it's been a fantastic episode here, guys, at Silverstone. The championship is getting very tense. It's bubbling away nicely. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, then drop a like on the video. Also, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it and how I can improve these videos. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content. Turn on notifications. And finally, check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you on my next episode very soon. Goodbye.